to someone about distracted driving. Latavia.
Thanks, Anna. We've talked a lot about distracted driving in recent years, but it isn't a new phenomenon. So whether you are taking your eyes off the road to chat with a passenger or to check a text, it's risky behavior that can have serious consequences. So joining us to talk about staying focused and staying safe is Steve Olmstead, the Director of Public and Government Affairs for CAA Atlantic. Good morning, Steve.
Hi, good morning.
Well, some of the facts around distracted driving are pretty frightening. It's a leading cause, if not the leading cause, of collisions, and up to 30% of road fatalities are the result of inattentive driving. So why do you believe we still do it?
You know, it's interesting because we've all heard the messages and we all do it. We can look in the mirror and admit that. But it's worth spending a little bit of time looking into why we do it. So as humans, our brains are really, really good at processing information quickly. We can think about different topics quickly, going from one to another. And that's great. But when it comes to actually managing a task, we're the opposite. We can only really do one thing at a time. We can only focus on one thing at a time. But for some reason, when we get in a car or another vehicle, we revert and we think we can do more than one thing. And there's some thinking that, you know, because we live such busy lives, that we just can't sit still long enough to focus, and we'll say, well, I'm waiting here at a stoplight, so I'll just like dig in over here and have a bite of my sandwich, or I'll look and scan for a text, things like that. So it's kind of within us just to try and do more things that we can handle.
Of course, I think a lot of us have tried to juggle everything, especially when you are a seasoned driver as well. You think you can do it no problem, but many of us these days think that distracted driving is more so caused by cell phones, but it could also be using a GPS or a playlist, or managing a child in the car, or, as you mentioned, even eating or driving, and eating and drinking and driving as well. So is there any one age group who's the most guilty of inattentiveness?
You know, this is really interesting because we tend to think it might be, you know, newer drivers that are kind of less seasoned and more easily distracted, but it's not true. Distraction is an issue among all age groups, and it's really pronounced amongst the 16 to 25-year-old age group, but it is also pronounced among drivers who are 55 years and older. So lots of questions around that, but you know, we're surrounded with more stuff in a car that will distract our attention, and right across those age categories, we let it happen.
Of course. So every province obviously has laws around distracted driving. So what are some of the penalties and consequences of that?
Well, there's a couple major consequences. So first, on the penalties and the financial side of it, yes, we have laws throughout Atlantic Canada and throughout North America that speak to different types of distracted driving. So we would be most commonly aware of, you know, touching or using a mobile device while you drive. So in Atlantic Canada, basic fines could range from $72.50 to well over $1,200. And if you're convicted of touching your phone or using it while you're driving, you could be looking at taking on some demerit points against your license as well. A couple of those pullovers, if you're charged with that, with using a device, very quickly you're going to get a note from the authorities saying, you better back off here, you're going to lose your license. Also on the financial side, though, you could, you know, if you are convicted of distracted driving, and again, in this case specifically, touching or using a mobile phone, your insurance rates could be affected. So your insurance company may say, listen, at time of renewal, you're a bit more of a risk than we are comfortable with, so it's going to cost you more, or you might have to find another provider.
Exactly.
And, yeah. And then, of course, there's the health issue as well. So, you know, 30% of collisions on the road, you know, where there's a fatality can be attributed to some sort of distraction.
Okay, well, perfect. We are running out of time. Do you have any few tips that you can give us for reducing distractions?
Yeah, absolutely. So really quickly, commit to the task at hand. Some of us, it's hard for us to commit to things, but on your next drive, just commit to eliminating all distractions before you leave. If something pops up where you can't avoid it while you're driving, safely pull over to the side of the road and stop and deal with it if you have to. Be an example. So be the example that you would like others to see, even your kids. If they're in the back seat, they're watching you. So be an example. And when you get to your destination, think to yourself, you know, did I do a good job? And would my mom be proud, or my dad be proud of how I did it? If you can answer yes, then you're on the right track. Keep doing that. And if not, just try again. Just go slow, take your time, and do your best.
100%. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
That was Steve Olmstead, the Director of Public and Government Affairs for CAA Atlantic. Make sure to stay with us. CTV Morning Live. We'll be right back after this short break.
Virgin Mornings with Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Mornings on Halifax's #1 hit music station, 101.3 Virgin Radio.